yesterday we looked at composite functions, where we take and plug functions into other functions. So then our practice that was yesterday. Okay, today we're going to do the last piece of composite functions, which is evaluating composite functions. Okay, so stop talking, please. Okay, it's every day. All right, so what we are going to be doing, okay, is our last piece of evaluating composite functions is where we have to plug in numbers into composite functions. Okay, we have a couple different strategies we can use to do these. So I'm going to show you two methods. You can pick which method you want to do, and I'll talk about the pros and cons of each method as we go. Okay, so method one. So whenever we look at a composite function, how do I read this right here? Yeah, it is f of g of 2. That is how we read that. So the first way we can do this is setting it up just like we've set up all of our others. So just by doing f of g of x first, and then dealing with the plugging in the number. Okay, so we set it up just like normal. So we're going to start with function f. What is function f of x? 2x minus 1. But what do I need to plug into that function? Which is negative 5x plus 2. So then we just write it in simplest form. So what do I need to do to simplify that? Distribute. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10x. 2 times 2 is, then we have negative 1. Which, if we write that in simplest form, what do we get? All right, so from here, all we would have to do in order for us to evaluate f of g of 2 is to replace x with what? 2. Okay, so it would be negative 10x plus 3, which would be 2. Yep. And so negative 10 times 2, yes. Yes. You could replace just the x up there, but you would have to just do the x. And a lot of people find that confusing because it's just a lot of plugging in one place. All right, what is negative 10 times 2? Negative 20. What is negative 20 plus 3? Negative 17. And that right there is our answer. When you evaluate a composite function at a number, your answer will always be a number. Okay, so that is method 1. So the pros for method 1 is that you start setting it up exactly like you set up every other composite function. So your setup is very consistent. Okay. Your con for method 1 is that it's a little bit longer of a method. Okay, because you set up the composite function, then you plug into the composite function. So the other method you can use to evaluate these, okay, is a little bit quicker, but it involves a different type of setup. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that. So for method 2, how do I read this right here? F of g of negative 3. All right, so for the other method, okay, we can kind of work it inside out. So we can figure out what g of negative 3 is first. So we can take and evaluate g of negative 3. So I'm going to take function g of x, which is negative 5x plus 2, and I'm going to plug in that negative 3 for x. What is negative 5 times negative 3? What is 15 plus 2? Okay, now that gives me what is inside of that parentheses. Okay, so what we do from there is do f of what we just got and calculate f of 17. So then we use function f and do 2 times x minus 1. But what do I need to plug in for x now? 17. What is 2 times 17? What is 34 minus 1? 33. So that right there is our final answer. Okay. The pros for that is it's quicker. Okay. That's the quickest way to do it. Okay. The con is that it's just a different setup. You go from inside out. Instead of with a normal composite function, you kind of start from the outside and go in. For that method, you do inside out. Okay? Both are good. Both work always. Okay? It's just a matter of your setup. You can also set it up all in one go. And when you plug in here, replace the X with the 2 from the get-go. A lot of people struggle with just making sure they're plugging it in correctly with their signs and parentheses and all of the things. That's why I don't recommend it as a method, just because it gets a little overwhelming. Yes?
On the test, are we going to need to know the both of them?
You pick which one you want to do. Yep, this isn't like quadratics where different types of problems have a better method to use. These both work every single time the same way. It's not like there's some problems that work better with one method or the other. They're both the same. It's just how we work them. All right, so which method do we like better?
First one.
Okay. Well, let's just do some of each, and then we'll do half with one method, half with the other method. Does that work? All right. So we will do number 10 with method 1. Okay, so how do I read this right here? H of f of negative 1. So we're going to do this by method 1. So we're going to start by just finding h of f of x. And if you want to do method 2 on your own paper, you do method 2, and you can just check your answer with me because you'll get the same answer. So from here, I'm going to start with function h. What is function h? 2x minus 3. And then I'm going to plug in function f, which is x minus 2. And then we're just going to simplify that. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Then we just bring down the minus 3. So we have 2x minus 7. And now we're going to actually do the h of f of negative 1. So I'm going to take and I'm going to actually plug in what for x? Negative 1. So what is 2 times negative 1? What is negative 2 minus 7? Negative 9. That is our answer. Yes?
So do we have to write, so when we're like after we do like the h of f of x, we have to write h of f and the number for the answer?
This? Yes. Yeah. Because there is a difference between this and that. All right. So now we're going to do number 12 with method 2. Okay. So for this one, how do I read this? G of f of negative 3. So for method 2, you start with the inside part. So in that case, it is f of negative 3. So let's go ahead and evaluate that. So function f is x minus 2. What do I need to plug into that function there? The negative 3. What is negative 3 minus 2? Negative 5. Okay, now we're going to take and plug that in for our f. So we're going to get g of negative 5 is equal to, what is function g? Negative 3x plus 5. But this time, what do I need to plug in for x? The negative 5. So what is negative 3 times negative 5? What is 15 plus 5? 20. So our answer is 20. Either method works, okay? Both methods will work all the time, and you can pick which one makes the most sense to you. Now, I did have a typo for 13 and 14. I forgot to put a number, okay? So real quick, for number 13, you're going to find f of 7. And for number 14, you're going to do h of negative 2. Okay, we're going to work number 14 together, though. So for number 14, what method do y'all want to do? We've done one with method 1, one with method 2. Which one do y'all want to do this time? Method 2? We'll do 2. All right, so we have this is equal to h of negative 2. So we're going to start with evaluating this inside part. So we're going to do h of negative 2. So we're going to take function h, which is what? 2x minus 3. And I'm going to plug in negative 2. What is 2 times negative 2? What is negative 4 minus 3? Negative 7. All right, so once we get that, that is what is inside there. So we're going to do h of negative 7 now, which gives us 2 times x minus 3, but this time we're plugging in what for x? Negative 7. What is 2 times negative 7?
Negative 14.
What is negative 14 minus 3? Negative 17. And that is our answer. All right, so I want y'all to go ahead and work out the odds for me. Do 9, 11, and 13 for me real quick. All right. So what I want us to do is I want us to go ahead and look at, oops, no, wait. All right, so number 9, how do you read number 9? F of g of 2. And what is the final answer to f of g of 2? Negative 3. Okay, I did this one by method 1. Okay, so I set up the composite, then plugged in 2, and we got negative 3. Either way you do it, you will get the same answer as long as you do it correctly. All right, number 10. How do you read number 10? Or number 11, my bad. H of g of 5. And what is the answer for h of g of 5? Negative 23. And I did this one by method 2. I started with the inside part, found my answer, and plugged that into the outside function. All right, how do you read number 13? What is f of 7? It is 3. Okay, so we start here by taking, if you do method 2 like I did, you take the inside part, which is f of 7, set that up, so we have 7 minus 2, which is 5. Then we plug that back into function f and get 5 minus 2, which is 3. You could have also set that up using method 1 by doing f of x, where you did x minus 2 and x minus 2. And then you get x minus 4. And then we take that and plug in 7, which gives us 7 minus 4, which is 3. So either way works. All right, so today we're going to do some practice. I'm going to go ahead and pass out the practice on this. There are 12 questions. We're going to go ahead and go through, or you're going to work on those and turn it in. Once I'm done passing those out, I'm going to call you up to my desk to get your exit ticket from the orange exit ticket from Tuesday. I've graded those and I'm going to pass those back so you can kind of see where you're at on these, okay? If you have questions, just let me know. All right.